reached the end of life. Let me help you. Take my parts. Help the other Optiplex owners. You will find the power that you've never known. I accept your mission. I will help all the Optiplex owners find their power. Let's go.
Just to recap, this is my original 1060 that was in the first video, and I put a twin fan big giant heatsink from a 970 on here. So it's the same card you see in the first video. I just upgraded the heatsink, that all bolted on. I removed all of the extra cables that are not needed. They're actually terminated inside the power supply. And I actually might shorten these. See this jumble? What I want is for everything to just go directly in the power supply, because this power supply is only for this case. So there's no reason for things to be looping around. I just did that, but I did get rid of many connections that were not needed. Also, I removed the air temperature sensor from the front to here. So this will record the ambient temperature inside the case. I really don't like it being in the front because that doesn't give you an accurate reading of what the actual temperature inside is. I would like to move it here, but it's not long enough. So I might have to, that's temporary. I'm gonna eventually extend those wires and have it be like right here so I can get an actual, I want the temperature of the air coming out. So after all of the heat has happened, I want to read what's coming out there. And in case you didn't know, the exit fan directly is related to the temperature. If this gets hot, the exit fan kicks in higher. So I would like that to be a thing. And of course, I did remove the hard drive cage finally. There's another video about that. It did not go well in the front here. I should have just made a hole, but what I did was I cut a big square. But when you do that, there's no support left. You know, it's very thin metal, so when you're cutting at the edge, it's just kind of going like that. So I'm not going to show you the front because it looks terrible, but just imagine that there is a big giant hole here and there is a filter. So like I posted in the other video, do not do this if you're not going to put a filter. If you're just going to put a fan here and just suck in air, you're just going to blow dust everywhere and it's going to be gross. So this is a filter plate from a Cooler Master case that I had laying around. I think you can just buy these on Amazon probably. The plate itself actually has two mounting points for a 120 and a 140. Some people put a 120. I went 140 because why not? Also, because of all of this restriction, it has to breathe through the mesh. It has to breathe through the front part. So the bigger fan will help with that. And my theory was that I could run this slower and get more airflow. This thing flows a ton of air. It's at 1300 RPM right now. It's way too loud, so I'm gonna look for a 1000 RPM fan to replace that, or manually find a way to turn down the RPMs. Okay, so that the front fan is now controlled by the rear fan exit connector temporarily. I was curious to see what would happen if you didn't actually have a rear fan and you just had a much larger front fan, and it would just blow air like this. And naturally, some of the air will just eventually escape here. What I noticed was when I was going I'm doing full load, like benchmark, YouTube, TV. I got so many things running that, I mean, it's just insane on the GPU. Not so much hot air coming out here. Lots of hot air coming out here. So this is working, because if this wasn't there, all that hot air would have went up and out that way. So not sure, this might be better or not. Anyway, so that's where we are. And so the reason why I'm making this video, that's an update on everything. And I'm going to finally try and upgrade this CPU fan. This actually works fine. I just don't like the ghetto-ness that I did with gluing this on top of this. Runs very cool. There's really no, I mean, I can't even hear this. But I do have a Cooler Master Tower fan that I thought would not fit